What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing a beer from the Goldfinger Brewing Company, and they're out of Downers Grove, Illinois, and this is their Vienna Lager. So they're calling this one a Vienna-style Lager that comes in at 5.5% alcohol by volume, 28 IBUs at the time of review. This can is just over 3 weeks old. I want to give a huge thanks and shout out to a good friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Chris, for this beer. So big thanks to him. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies he hooked me up with, and I was really excited to see this one in the box because I have had one beer from Goldfinger, and it was a collaboration between Hop Butcher and Goldfinger, and I actually drank it back in 2021 when the channel was on hiatus, so I didn't get a chance to review it. So when I saw this one, I was like, I'm really excited to give it a go. Now, Goldfinger is a lager-focused brewery in the suburbs of Chicago. And they pretty much have three main beers from what I can tell. It seems like their Helles Lager and their German Pils are like the ones that are most readily available. And I like me some Vienna Lagers. My favorite when it comes to American brewed Vienna Lagers, Von Trapp, their Vienna Lager is pretty good. Obviously, Sam Adams Boston Lager, the OG. Although I haven't tried the remastered version yet. I was trying to get a bottle of the original, and I was going to do a comparison. Can't find a bottle of the original or even a can, so we're just probably going to do the remastered on its own. And then if you want to count it, I think you can count it, but Elliot Ness from Great Lakes is pretty fantastic as well. So yeah, this is just, like I said, Vienna-style Lager. On the side here, they do say Vienna-style Lager, a double decoction, so a double decoction mash. It says toasty and malty, and this says on the side here about the brewery, this naturally carbonated lager is rooted in family tradition, brewed like our ancestors did in 19th century Krakow. So pretty awesome. Let's get it into the glass and see what we got going on here with a Vienna-style lager. I don't, review and drink a ton of Vienna lagers, but I do enjoy the style. So yeah, I'm really excited to give this one a go. I've heard just great things about Goldfinger in general, especially from the Chicago viewers of the channel. They really seem to enjoy their beers when it comes to lagers in general. So really excited about this one. So yeah, that has an amber color to it, good clarity to it, but it has an amber color to it. Hold it up to the light. It has almost like a copperish tone. A little bit of like an orange, like a burnt orange in there as well. Has a finger of an off-white, creamy looking head. That actually is a pretty creamy looking head in general. Some good carbonation rising from the bottom of the glass. And I would say right now that that looks like a picture perfect Vienna Lager, at least in my opinion. Let's get a nose. Yeah, so they said toasty and malty. It definitely has like a toasted white bread, maybe even a slight brown bread quality, but mostly white bread, but it's toasty, very toasty, almost into the roasty realm. There's a little bit of like a caramel and toffee, a very minute, but it's there. And it has subtle hop aroma. It has a little bit of like a, I would say herbaceous kind of spicy, like maybe like a noble hop aroma. But, it's very subtle. This is definitely Vienna lagers, are a little bit more malt forward. So I'm not anticipating anything crazy from the hops. Touch of like a sulfury note. This being a lager, of course, sometimes I get that. Slight nuttiness. Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of a complexity here, but the style is not really like overly complex. It's just supposed to be super drinkable, lower ABV lagers that you want to crush. And I'll tell you right now, it's making my mouth water. So let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again to Chris. Yeah, that's real nice. Wow. That first sip is really, really good. Body, this is lower side of medium, approaching medium, appropriate for the style. I think typically these are like in the medium body range, and I think that's fair for this one. The mouthfeel, super crisp, has a moderate carbonation, really smooth on the palate, but it does, it's effervescent to some degree, but not over the top. Just a super clean tasting beer in general. From the palate, the nose carried over. There's a malt character that has a decent complexity to it, but not over the top. So has a nice toasted white bread, a little bit of like a toasted brown bread, even maybe a slight rye, but I'm stretching here, but it's more like, white bread, brown bread, toasty, more than roasty. A little bit of nuttiness, a touch of like a caramel toffee. Passes through halfway through the palate. The malt character kind of starts to dissipate and fade away and transitions into more of a hop character that it really has, again, that herbaceous kind of spicy hop aroma. This is mildly to moderately bitter. It's pretty dry, almost full-on dry. Real nice dryness on the back of the palate. Very well-balanced beer. Like I said, leans maybe a little bit more to the malt side of things, but it's not super sweet or anything. Just a little bit more malt character. And very clean, like I said, on the palate. Like extremely clean, super easy to drink. I could crush multiple cans of this and not think twice. I'm trying to think if there's anything else here. There might be like a mild fruitiness, like a mild like yeast ester or something in the middle of the palate that's like an apple or a pear or something, but I'm just starting to get that now as I'm sitting here trying to think about what I'm tasting on my palate. But for the most part, super easy to drink. Has enough complexity here. Again, this is not a style that's like super complex, but I like what's here. You know, half dozen different tasting notes. It's a very subtle beer in general, but it does have really nice flavor components, and I'm digging this a lot. Like, this is really good, and I see why folks in Chicago enjoy their lagers, because this is a really good lager. That one I had with Hop Butcher was a little bit more like a hop forward, like IPL type of beer, and this is more traditional, obviously, the style. So, excuse me, I think this is extremely well done for what it's supposed to be. Yeah, just really, really good. So if you're in the Chicago area and you like lagers, I would imagine you've heard of Goldfinger. And if not, go check them out. You know, I've heard so many good things about their lagers and the stuff they're doing. So, colored me impressed here, because I am. I'm pretty impressed by this one. So their Vienna Lager, they call it Vienna-style Lager on the label. I have absolutely no issues whatsoever. I'm going to give this, and again, keep in mind, like stylistically, this is really good. This is like, 4.5, 4.6. This is really good. Personal preference can be a little bit lower, but I still have to give this a low 4.25 and go 4.2 out of 5. This is a really well constructed and brewed Vienna style lager. And if, again, you are in the Chicago area, seek this out. Check out probably their Helles and their German Pils. I'd love to try the Helles. I love Helles lager, so I think I would really enjoy it. 5.5%, you really can't tell, which is beautiful. The body indicates maybe a bigger lager, in the 5.5 to 6 realm, which I would probably guess this is like 5.5. I should probably say like 5.2 to 5.5 if I was doing blind, but you can't taste the alcohol. And price point availability on their website, they had the prices for it. $12.99 4-pack, a bit pricey nowadays. And I seem to say this in most reviews, so take this for a grain of salt, because it's, price points and availabilities are different depending on where you live from state to state here in the US. But $12.99 for a 4-pack of this, no questions. If you're supporting local and, you're talking about, just over $3 a can, you're not breaking the bank. It's not some crazy numbers. Like some of these beers from some breweries are 16, 17, $18 a 4-pack. Like that's someplace in California, 20. That's expensive for a 5.5% Vienna lager, right? This being $12.99 a 4-pack is fine, especially in Chicago or just outside of Chicago. That's a good price point in this economy and this market when it comes to craft beer. But again, value is in the eye of the beholder, so always take that into account. And availability, I think Goldfinger is only available in the Chicago area. I've not seen them here in Buffalo, New York. If you've seen them and you are outside of Chicago, or let's just say Illinois in general, let me know where you got it or where you're located, so I kind of have a better idea. But as far as I know, Goldfinger a little bit smaller, and they're in the Chicago area. So huge thanks to Chris for this one. A lot of fun to try. I hope to get to try more from them down the road. If you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about it. Have you had the Helles? Have you had the German Pils? Have you had anything else from them that I should keep my eye out for if down the road I do some trades with some fellas, or maybe some folks in the Chicago area send me some beer mails? What should I keep my eye out for? Because I want to try more from them, and this was a good first impression, and I'm happy about it. So appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.